Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Charles Lejano. U.S. President Joe Biden will announce an immigration bill that provides sharp contrast to the policies of outgoing President Donald Trump. For starters, Biden wants to offer citizenship for millions of undocumented immigrants in the U.S. Biden's immigration policy also includes the immediate lifting of travel bans on Muslim-majority countries and the immediate halting of the construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall. The new president will also order the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Attorney General to preserve the Deferred Action for Child Arrivals or DACA program. This program prohibits the deportation of qualified migrants who had arrived in the U.S. as children. Trump tried and failed many times to end this program and take away the protection for the so-called immigrant dreamers. Biden is also looking to reverse a Trump executive order calling for stricter interior immigration enforcement. Aside from immigration, Biden also wants drastic shifts in the country's COVID-19 response on his very first day in the Oval Office. The Democrat leader will attempt to jumpstart the federal government's response to the pandemic with a string of urgent executive orders. Biden will require all federal employees to wear masks and will make face coverings mandatory on federal property. The president will also establish a new White House office to coordinate virus response. He will likewise halt the withdrawal of the U.S. from the World Health Organization, a process that had been initiated by Trump. The new administration also intends to join the Covax alliance, an initiative led by the WHO seeking to secure fair access to COVID-19 vaccines. Biden's first moves mark more sharp changes from Trump's strategy, which critics say was ineffectual and uncoordinated. Biden takes office a day after the United States marked 400,000 COVID-19 deaths since the pandemic broke out, while vaccination programs have lagged far behind the target of 20 million Americans inoculated by the end of 2020. Former U.S. Health Secretary Kathleen Sebelius is expecting the Biden administration to roll out a vaccine plan that's based on science and not on regional and racial considerations. She speaks with David Weston on Bloomberg Balance of Power. Let's listen in.
Well, I expect this administration to listen to science first and foremost. I think that you again have a president who believes in healthcare as a right, not as a factor of geography or job or wealth. I think that Joe Biden went through every step of the way on the Affordable Care Act, on expanding the law in the greatest expansion of health care in America since Medicare and Medicaid were passed in the mid-'60s, but knows that it didn't go far enough, knows that there's a lot left to be done. We still have the largest number of uninsured in the world. We still have very different levels of health care delivered to different populations. We still have way too many health disparities. And we have a country right now leveled by a health disease that took down our economy. So there's never been a clearer time to say health really matters. Keeping a healthy and resilient nation matters. It matters to get out ahead of this. So I think you're going to see a very robust national plan to tackle the virus, but also to put in place efforts to really focus on the health disparities that we've seen ravage African Americans and Hispanics and Native Americans at a very disproportionate level with COVID-19. We're going to see building out a health corps, increasing access to insurance, particularly for low-income workers, and an effort overall to lower costs and make sure that people can afford dazzling drugs like the vaccine that just became available. So it's an all-of-the-above approach, both focusing on the virus, but then focusing on a health system that still doesn't work well for everyone.
So, Madam Secretary, let's take it in those two pieces, if we could, and start with the virus
Sure.
itself and what we do right now. How much can an incoming Biden administration really do on the virus? And let's be specific, maybe about the vaccines. Isn't that a very big battleship? Can it really turn it around anytime soon?
Well, it's a big battleship. I think the great news for the American public is we have vaccines that work, and they work extremely well. This may be some of the most effective vaccines that we've seen in years since the polio vaccine. That's great news. So ramping up the manufacturing, making very transparent what the delivery system is, involving the federal government in logistics in a way that they have really done a hands-off approach will be essential to getting shots in arms.
Leaders from around the world took to Twitter in support of U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau congratulated Biden and Harris, saying he's looking forward to continuing Canada's partnership with the U.S. under this administration. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he's looking forward to working with Biden, noting that America's leadership is vital on issues that, quote, matter to us all. French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed the U.S. again to the Paris Agreement after former President Trump withdrew from the climate accord last November. Biden moved to reinstate the U.S. to the accord just hours after his inauguration. Other leaders who congratulated Biden were Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte. FDA Director General Eric Domingo says the Philippines can derive some benefit from lagging behind in vaccine procurement. In an interview with 1PH's Sa Totoo Lang, Domingo said this lag time can be used to observe how vaccines are doing abroad so that the government can adjust its recommendations accordingly.
Tsaka yun na rin ang maganda na hindi tayo yung nauna no, na gumamit ng mga bakuna kasi ngayon na meron ng mga 5 million, 7 million to 7 million na nabakunahan, now we're seeing no, kung ano yung mga dapat na kailangan nating pag-ingatan. Katulad nga ng mga severe allergies na nakita sa Amerika. Kasi itong sa Norway naman, yung difficulty with using the vaccine in the very old at saka yung mga frail.
In the same interview, Domingo gave updates on the status of the vaccine authorization applications filed with the agency. He said AstraZeneca has yet to respond to questions from the country's vaccine experts, but the department is expecting a reply by Friday. Meanwhile, he said Sinovac has submitted reports from its phase 3 trials, which are now being evaluated by the agency. As for proposals to the public, for the public to get inoculated with different vaccines, Domingo says the department does not recommend this.
So hindi natin siya ma-advise kasi we don't have any evidence to show that it is safe or that it gives extra protection. This time, ang mga pag-aaral kasi ng bawat bakuna na nag-develop ay bababakunahan ka tapos ng bakuna niya tapos second dose nung bakuna rin niya.
The country is set to receive its first batch of vaccine doses from the Covax facility this first quarter of 2021. This as the Philippines receives confirmation of its participation in the global vaccine consortium led by the World Health Organization. To prepare for the early distribution of shots from Covax, Health Secretary Francisco Duque and vaccine czar Carlito Galvez visited 3 cold storage facilities that can potentially be used in the first wave of COVID-19 vaccines. Duque notes that the vaccine cluster is also in talks with third-party logistics providers to ensure efficient supply chain management of vaccines. Some residents of Marikina headed to evacuation centers hours after midnight. This as the Marikina River alert level reached the second alarm. To give us the latest on this, we have Justine Punsalang. She's reporting to us live from Marikina. Justine, what do you have for us?
Charles, Marikina River's water level is starting to go down. This means that the alert level to the river is also lowered from second back to first. But the water level is still significantly high, that it is still spilled over the road, which means some of the vehicles are still trapped in the area. At 4:28 this morning, the water level at Marikina River reached 16.2 meters, raising the alert to second level after incessant rain last night. High tide also contributed to the rapid rise of the river's water level, according to the Marikina Public Information Office. Mayor Marcy Chodoro added that there is a heavy siltation at the river due to the onslaught of Typhoon Ulysses. Upon reaching alert level 2, warning signals blared in the city to inform the residents about the raised alarm. But after barely 3 hours, water level lowered to 15.9 meters, which caused the alert to go back to first alarm. However, water from the river remained high and even spilled over the road, trapping some vehicles parked near the riverbank. The van owned by Sally and her husband was submerged almost up to the roof. They only found out about this when they woke up at 4 a.m. According to Sally, they did not anticipate the Marikina River will overflow. Based on their experience, it takes 3 days of non-stop rain for the water level to get that high. Her problem now is how to get the van fixed. Sally said that they only had the van for more than a year and they've been using it as a shuttle service. Charles, the water at the Marikina River is steadily going down, and Mayor Marcy Chodoro said that he has already communicated with the DPWH and DNR so that they can start the dredging of the Marikina River. Chodoro noted that there are around 12 to 15 families that evacuated in the evacuation centers preemptively, and they are now already starting to return to their homes. Charles?
Thank you, Justine Ponsalang, reporting live from Marikina. It's a rainy Thursday today in different parts of the country. Pag-asa is monitoring 4 weather systems that are affecting the archipelago today. To give us more details, we have with us on the phone weather forecaster Ana Clauren. Ana, good afternoon. Pag-asa has spotted an LPA affecting the country. Could you tell us more about this?
Yes, good morning, Sir Charles. At 3 a.m. today, the low pressure area was estimated at around 210 kilometers south-southwest of Puerto Princesa City, Palawan. It is embedded along the intertropical convergence zone which affects the Palawan and the Mindanao area. And today, this LPA and the ITZZ will bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Mimaropa, Western and Central Visayas, and the whole Mindanao. It is we advise the possible floods or landslides due to moderate at times heavy rains is possible over those areas.
Right, Anna, is this LPA expected to intensify into a tropical depression?
As of the moment, we expect that this LPA will dissipate in the next 24 hours, so 24 to 36 hours.
Right, Anna, but then what are the areas that are currently being affected by the tail end of the frontal system? Could you tell us more about this?
Yes, the tail end of the frontal system or the shear line is now affecting the eastern sections of northern and central Luzon, bringing cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over Cagayan Valley, Cordillera Administrative Region, Central Luzon, Quezon, Rizal, and also here in Metro Manila.
Right, Anna, one last question before I let you go. What about the northeast monsoon? What are the areas that are currently being affected by this? It's a bit chilly today, now?
Yes, the northeast monsoon is still affecting the extreme northern Luzon, bringing partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated light rains over the Ilocos region.
Thank you. That was Pag-asa weather forecaster Ana Clauren. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 1 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. We're One News.